Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the GC Informer. I am Snowy, otherwise known as Count Dracula, bringing you some Friday news because I forgot to do it on Tuesday because I was out. For those of you who are fans of Resident Evil, I have good news, hopefully, because a new series, live-action series, is apparently being produced for Netflix. Now, we must remember that Resident Evil hasn't had the best reputation when it comes to live-action adaptations. The films have received pretty much a critical panning almost across the board, apart from the first one, maybe the second if you're being charitable. And I can understand why they're not great films. I've seen most of them, they're really not that good. But otherwise, this might be good because, you know, Resident Evil's had some good form over the last couple of years. The remake of number 2 has just come out and is receiving pretty damn good reviews, more positive than I was expecting, certainly. And Resident Evil 7 came out a year or two ago now and got good reviews at the time as well. So that might bode some positive, you know, it might be good. Might actually be good. On the other hand, though, this was reported by Deadline, I believe they're a film magazine, and they reported that this was apparently going to be produced by Constantine Films, however you want to pronounce that name. And they are actually the production company that were behind the 7 live-action Resident Evil films that came in the last sort of 10-15 years. And, you know, they had announced plans to reboot the franchise a long time ago after the last film came out, and this is probably the result of that. But considering that they're the production company that greenlit those Resident Evil films, especially the poor ones, we'll see. I will remain optimistic. It might well be a very good Resident Evil series, but, you know, just be wary of it when you consider the company that are handling it. Ubisoft have listened to you, the players, and in response to quite a bit of vocal backlash regarding the ending of one of its DLC chapters for Assassin's Creed Odyssey, they've decided to give in and change a bit of it because, you know, there was a lot of backlash about this. For those of you who don't know, I talked about it in the last newscast, and basically the ending of this this segment of the DLC for Assassin's Creed Odyssey makes the player go into a specifically heterosexual relationship and have a child. And a lot of people took umbrage with that because of the way that Assassin's Creed Odyssey is built, very much around player choice and you doing your own thing within that game, and then making you railroading you into a thing that you have no choice over is a little bit incongruous with that. They did say at the time that it makes sense with the plot because, you know, the overarching future plot of Assassin's Creed, you're going into the memories of an ancestor. That bit kind of makes sense. But to railroad a player into making that kind of choice when they didn't really want to, not the best plan in a game such as this one, where your choices as a player are heavily promoted as, this is your choice, you can play this how you like. It's supposed to be a role-playing game, so you can role-play. Ubisoft had initially initially said that they wouldn't be changing the actual ending of the DLC. Instead, they'd just be changing the achievement name, which a lot of people weren't happy with, which is called Growing Up, which, yeah, not very tactful, kind of just suggests that you have to have a baby to be an adult, and fuck that noise. But they have since, in a statement, said that after listening to player feedback, they've decided to change a cutscene that in the ending of the game to more reflect the choices of a player who chooses a non-romantic option with this character. In this statement, they also said that they were carefully looking at the upcoming episodes of this DLC to work out just how to keep this kind of congruity going, really, with the rest of the game and how players choose to live in it. The update for the current DLC pack though will come out with the next big patch, along with the achievement change. And overall, this is probably the best response that they could have done. You know, a lot of people might say that they're just kowtowing to the liberals and whatever, but you know, I think overall, in a game that emphasizes player choice, this kind of change is probably the better option of the two things. That's just my opinion though. If you have a different opinion, please feel free to leave it in the comments below and just, you know, be respectful. That's all I ask. And that brings us to the end of another episode of the GC Informer, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, feel free to like, subscribe and share whatever you fancy. Our social links are down in the description with a link to our Discord where you can join in with our community. And stay tuned though to GameCast. We have news, reviews and podcasts. Lots of great content coming up that you can feast your eyes and ears on. And otherwise, I will see you soon for something else.